Hello, this is Joe83, and this is round 2 of the LCR F2 League, and we're here in Brazil. And if you missed the first episode in Bahrain, then go and check that out. It was uploaded last week. So, yeah, in Brazil, luckily it's a full dry race. My pace was actually fairly good in the practice before this. Obviously, preset setups. I'm using the increased top speed one, which I think is the best all-round setup, really, for most tracks, to be honest. And then into one-shot quali, this is the only chance we get, so we've got to nail it on the only opportunity, as it's the nature of one shot. It's turn one, breaking 100-meter balls down to second gear, trying to get a nice, clean run through here, upshifting quite late because obviously, as we said in Bahrain, you want to really rev out the gears in these cars. They're quite interesting to drive compared to the F1, but yeah, down towards the next corner, braking very late, just after 100-meter board, down into third gear, braking nice and hard, getting the car turned in nicely in this blue Carlin car. As I was saying, yeah, my pace felt pretty good, definitely a little bit better than Bahrain. So top 4, top 5 was pretty much my aim. Yeah, through the high speed turn 6 now, trying to keep it on the track, which we very nearly don't do there, but luckily we stayed within the white lines just about. And Sims, who actually won the last race in Bahrain, is out of the session already. He must have invalidated his lap already. So yeah, he'll be starting last, and then into Bico de Pato, trying to keep it nice and late. A little bit earlier than I could do there, but second gear and getting a nice exit down towards this corner, which isn't quite flat in these cars. You really need to be careful to not run wide, because that invalidates your lap straight away. And then over that curb for the nice run through the final corner and up the hill, upshifting through the gears, very simple, enter the lap and trying to keep it as left hand side as possible for the shortest run, and opening DRS now. And it's been a pretty decent lap. I was fairly happy with it overall. I think my PB was a 16.2 or something, and we've done a 16.8, so I was pretty happy with that. So 6/10 off pole. You saw Connor got a 16.2 on pole, but that leaves me in third place, which is very good. Only 13 drivers, but still, you can see the gaps as well. I'm half a second off second place and 7/10 out of fourth, which is Joe, who had a very good lap, to be fair to him. So yeah, it seems like I'll be in a race on my own if the gaps stay anything like that, but I know there'll be some drivers like Kez and Matt who want to come back from their bad qualifyings. But yeah, onto the grid then for the Brazilian Grand Prix, starting on the soft tyres. You can start wherever you want, but I just preferred to get the softer tyre out of the way early, and then onto the 5 red lights for the Brazilian Grand Prix, starting third on the grid. And it's a pretty long hold, but we're away at last and trying to get a decent start. It's very difficult to launch these cars this year for some reason, but you see John and Connor, who are comfortably quicker in qualifying. There's not really much point trying to challenge them at this point in the race, because they're just going to be putting away loads. But luckily no challenge from behind either, so straight away we've got a little bit of a gap. You can see the move out to Kez, who's overtaken Joe already. And yeah, the top 2 both on mediums, as well as Matt, so there'll be ones to keep an eye on later in the race. But as I was saying last week as well, I've never had a podium in a feature race, so starting third and having pretty decent pace, it looks like this is definitely my best opportunity to try and get that podium that I haven't got so far. And you can see lap 3, DRS enabled, and we've just about broken the DRS window behind us, and also unfortunately John has broken 1.2 seconds in front of me, but they are close to battling, so if they start battling, maybe I can hang on. But Kez is just so close to getting within a second. He has actually done that now, so I really need to nail this lap and pull a second gap. And yeah, a few minutes later, lap 5 now, and we have done exactly that. And luckily, yeah, 2.1 seconds now to Kez, who started struggling a bit. He selected the wrong setup. He selected balance by accident, but meanwhile the safety car has been deployed, which should help me quite a lot, because obviously on the softs it's an absolute no-brainer to stop, because I was going to pit lap 7 anyway. So yeah, perfect timing really for the safety car. And even better for me, the top 2 are mediums. They're going to probably have got a difficult decision to make. They're both going to peel into the pits as well, but soft tyres, if they go onto softs, they're never going to go the length they go is about 9-10 laps at a push comfortably, and they're going to have to do effectively 13 laps on sets of soft tyres, which is going to be very, very difficult for those two. But they are quicker than me, John and Connor, anyway, so we'll have to wait and see what happens in the rest of the race. But I was thinking, if I can just stay with them on the softs, then surely they're going to be struggling at the end of the race. But into the pit lane, 5.7 stop. We got held a little bit for the Campos of John, and Kez actually had to queue behind Connor, so that's going to give me a big gap to him, and should allow Apex to get past a few. I think someone got past Kez, definitely. So that will relieve the pressure from me a little bit. You see Joe is actually the car directly behind me now, who I know I'm definitely comfortably faster than. So after the restart, hopefully we can push really hard and make big gaps to the drivers that are actually as fast as me. So yeah, it's looking very good. We have an opportunity here to do something pretty decent. And yeah, at the end of the safety car window, John actually pitted again. He did a weird strategy of going onto the softs for the safety car period and then going back onto mediums, so he's now last as well. So I've only got Connor ahead of me, who is going to the end, and the other drivers have all got a pit again on the mediums. So we've got Matt leading from Ben and Jack, and then Connor in 4th, myself in 5th on the best strategy quite comfortably. So yeah, if we can stay with Connor, he's going to start struggling at the end of the race on those softs. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. But restart now, and pretty comfortable restart, not really any challenge from behind. We've got Jack and Connor, who Connor's definitely faster than the 3 ahead of him, so he's going to try and mince them as soon as possible, you imagine, and he's going to go down the inside of Jack through turn 3. Jack's got a pretty poor exit there. I'm going to try and follow him through, but Jack's going to come to the left hand side of the track a little bit, but there's still a gap there, so I'm going to go through the inside and break it nice and late and getting that inside line for turn 4 and taking that position pretty comfortably, leaving him some space on the outside though, because I don't want to be too mean to my former teammate from AOR. So yeah, trying to stay with Connor now really, but he's disposed of Ben incredibly quickly, lap 10 now, a lap and a half later, and yeah, I've got to try and overtake Ben as soon as possible to stay with Connor for as long as I can. DRS isn't enabled yet, it's only been 2 laps, or this is the end of the 2nd lap since the safety car came in, but you can see already we've got a bit of a gap to the other Arden of Joe, who's going to the end, and Kez is 2 seconds back, so if I can just keep this pace up, get through the traffic as soon as possible, which has usually been my weak point. I'm usually very passive with overtaking, but we need to really be going for it today. And in the slipstream of Ben, no DRS yet, so it's an old school overtake if it's going to happen. But in the slipstream down towards turn 1, I'm pretty sure we had the same setup on, but he's on older tyres, of course, and then gaining in the slipstream, but we're close enough for a move into turn 1, going to fake one to the inside, absolutely send it into the braking zone. He broke pretty early there, and we just about got it done. He's had to back out of that one through apex of turn 2. And I'm up into 3rd place again, which is effectively 2nd, as Matt still has a stop to do on those mediums. So I was really happy with that move, actually, because I would never normally go for anything as aggressive as that, but I saw that the opportunity was there for a special result, because Connor, on those softs, of course, is going to start struggling later in the race. He's actually struggling to get past Matt as well, which is quite surprising. I'm back in the DRS of him, so if I can just get dragged along by the MP of Connor, then that'll be perfect for the rest of my race, to be honest. And Connor going down the inside of Matt, meanwhile, I'm setting a purple sector 1, but Matt and Connor side by side. Matt's trying to keep his nose in, bit of contact, and Connor's half spun. Am I going to be able to sneak through? No, I thought better of that one. But yeah, maybe there was a chance to sneak through, but I just couldn't tell where his car was going. I didn't want to crash into him and ruin my race. So, but maybe thinking about the inside of 6, his tyres will be very hot now with that half spin. But no, he covers that one off pretty well. But Matt being a pretty aggressive defending there, but fair enough, you know. I don't really know why he did that, because at the end of the lap he's going to peel into the pits anyway. So if anything, it's just costing himself time. But you know, he's a bit weird. So, but in lap 14 now, we're comfortably in the DRS of Connor, and as I said, his soft tyres are very, very poor at this point. So we've also got to keep an eye out for John, because he's setting purple laps and he's on mediums going to the end. He's just moved up to 5th there, 4 seconds back, and his pace is definitely good enough to make up that time. But later in the race, a few laps later, Connor has actually broken the DRS on me once again, which is a bit unfortunate. But I know that his tyres are going to be struggling a lot pretty much from now on, because he's already done up to 11 laps, I think, on these soft tyres. So yeah, 1.1 seconds. We've gained 3/10 that lap, and really we've got to keep pushing. And my tyres are fine to go to the end. And in through turn 1, you can see you can visibly see how much time he's losing. It was 1.2 at the apex of turn 1, and through the first complex, we've gained 2/10 already. And then halfway through that lap, it's now 0.8 of a second. But you see the lap counter, there's 1 lap to go after this one. So if we're going to make something happen, it's going to have to be pretty soon. But there's a potential for a race win on the cards. John hasn't really had the pace to close up too quickly. He's still 3 seconds back, so it's really a straight fight between me and Connor in the MP, the man who's so hard to beat in these cars. And really, I've had luck play into my hands quite a lot, but we've had the opportunity now 0.6 back down the straight with DRS about to be opened, and potentially a chance into turn 1 if we can gain enough, but it looks like we're a little bit too far back. But obviously on this lap he's going to be struggling so much. We've gained almost a second that last lap, and through turn 1 braking nice and late, try and put as much pressure on him as possible, push him as hard as he can. Hopefully he makes a mistake on these worn tyres, and through turn 2 that's exactly what's happened. He's gone wide, got a massive bit of oversteer through the apex of turn 2, and that's letting me into the lead of the race. And with 1 lap to go, I haven't won any league race in about 3 years almost, so I was just hoping, like, please don't make a mistake, don't get a penalty, don't just bin it off myself or anything like that. But Connor now has no chance to fight back either. He's lost a second already, and later in that lap he's 1.5 seconds back, and John is actually going to be pressuring him. But meanwhile, I've got a big lead, not running off the track there at all, and it's going to be P1 it looks like, which is unbelievable scenes. I haven't won an F2 race ever, yes, feature or a sprint race. I've never even got a feature race podium, but this time with a little slice of luck from the safety car and definitely some good pace. But yeah, the luck played into my hands quite a lot, but we had come across the line for the race victory, and it's unbelievable scenes in F2, and I was so happy with that, so happy I actually paused it straight away. But John gets the 2 points for the fastest lap, but it's 25 points for me. The Carlins have won both races so far. My teammate the Humperdinck, who wasn't here this week, but he got the win last week in the feature. I've got the win this week in the feature race, which is unbelievable, and I was so surprised. Obviously, I had the pace for a podium, I think, in normal circumstances. And the timing of the safety car really played into my hands, unsurprisingly. As if you've watched any of my league races in the last 6 months, that'll be pretty standard stuff, really. But yeah, 25 points, and that actually raised me into the championship fight, as Sims didn't score any points at all. So I think at this point I was leading the championship, because yeah, Connor wasn't there last week and he finished third. John actually finished second because Connor got a puncture. So in the end I won by 5 seconds, which yeah, going into the last lap, having not been leading at all, I'll happily take. And yeah, any race win I'll happily take, to be fair. Yeah, 25 points for the team and for myself, so leading the championship now. And that, of course, into the sprint race means I'm starting 8th, which is probably one of the lowest starting points I've ever had in a sprint race that I've actually finished in the top 8 for. And yeah, going onto the grid for the sprint race, everyone's on medium tyres. It's 10 laps of Brazil once again. And if my pace can be like that, there's no reason why we can't start scything through the field, hopefully. But you can see the dams of MZAT's taking his place in 10th. And yeah, the order is reversed from the top 8. So that's why I'm starting 8th, because I obviously won the race. But yeah, onto the reforming the grid. And my game has decided to break. So yeah, I had no choice other than to quit, which I tried to do once and it didn't let me. So I actually had to end up quitting the game completely. So that's a fantastic start to my sprint race. And yeah, by the time I got back in, thankfully Ben sent me an invite. Yeah, by the time I got back in, I was last and it was lap 2. So yeah, that's any chance of like getting a podium is pretty much gone, but hopefully we can fight back. My pace, of course, was pretty good, especially compared to some of the drivers at the lower end. But yeah, we've got to try and get right on the back of this train as soon as possible and start cutting our way through the traffic. But we've only got 8.5 laps to actually do that now. And we're already a second and a half off the back of Sims. But a lap later, lap 3, and MZATS is lagging all over the place. I think he's from South Africa or something. But yeah, either way, Sims is having to battle this. And he's got the inside bend there. So this is really allowing me to catch up, because all those drivers are being so tentative around that like warping dams car, and that's allowed me to catch up quite a lot, which is good, unless I get damage off of that warping dams car, but hopefully not. And there's a car off on the left now, that's Callum Teasdale, and Ben has half spun as well, so that's 2 places for free through the Bico to Pato corner there. I don't know what happened to either of them, but yeah, either way, mistakes allowing me to gain a couple of places. And there's John on the right as well, who's absolutely binned it, and he's almost going to come back on the track, but he's out of the race, and that's raised me into 8th, so already getting points. The top 8 get points in the sprint. That's pretty much my only aim after disconnecting straight away, but you can see MZAT's here, and Sims, and MZAT's has been spun around because Sims just doesn't know where the car is. So yeah, I'm just gaining places by people crashing each other off and stuff. So yeah, up into 7th now, having not made a single overtake, but now Sims on the back of Joe, and it's going to be very close. The winner from last week overtaking Joe in the Arden, and he's braking pretty early, but there's not really much I can do about that. Sims taking that place into 5th, and there's definitely potential. We saw I was faster than both of these drivers in the feature race, and Joe's got a bit wide through turn 2, and we're going to try and take our chance now. Joe has opened that DRS. I had to swing back into the slipstream, but then send one down the inside turn 3, braking very late there, nice and aggressive. The sorts of moves I wouldn't usually do. We're still side by side through turn 5 now, but with the shorter line, that's my position sorted, and we're up into 6th place, and we try and get in the back of the Sims now. And through the high-speed section, nothing really doing through the middle sector, but you can just see how much we're closing already, and yeah, onto the end of that lap, and Sims only 4 tenths ahead. There's definitely a chance for another move here, as the DRS is pretty powerful, and the slipstream in these cars seems to be better than a slipstream in F1, but to the outside of turn 1, he's covered the inside lines, they're braking nice and late, trying to swing on all the way around the outside, and that is a lovely move if it comes off, trying to take the apex to turn 2, no corners cut at all, and Sims has had to back out of that one, but unfortunately he's going to have DRS now. He's got a much better line with the wider entries too, and that's going to allow him the DRS open down towards turn 4. It's a great battle between myself and Sims, and 2 championship leaders at the current moment in time, and Sims having to back out of that one running outside, or he's keeping those in, but with the shorter line once again through turn 5, that should be my corner, and no one was really rerunning side by side up here, so he's going to back out of that one quite sensibly and allow me to take 5th place. But with a few laps left now, unless I can catch Apex, I'll be quite surprised if I can get any higher than this, really. The top 3 are definitely a lot faster, but lap 8 actually, I'm looking behind while they're in forward, and Sims is back on my tail, and with the DRS he's going to be quite comfortably clear, it looks like. He's already alongside down towards as they start across the start finish line, and Sims goes down the outside and takes that position pretty comfortably, but he's got a bit wide there through turn 1, so if we can get a good exit on 2, we can maybe challenge back into turn 4. And Sims, yeah, pretty bad line there. We're almost pushing him around turn 3 and going to the outside line already, but DRS open. Unfortunately no slipstream because I was side by side coming out of the corner, really, but we're going to drive clean past him. He's going to back out of that one, actually. I think we both sort of thought we could catch Apex, so trying not to battle too hard and taking that place back into 5th with a 2-second gap, but unfortunately onto the last lap now, it was still a second, so yeah, no chance of my catching Apex. I will have DRS, but obviously the start-finish line comes too quickly, and there's no chance I'm going to be ahead. Maybe 1 or 2 more laps, and I probably would have finished 4th. But yeah, unfortunately, it's going to be 5th, which is still very good. I'd usually take that, but with the disconnect, I think I could have definitely finished 4th that race if I hadn't disconnected. But actually, I've won. So according to the game, at least, I've got back-to-back wins there by 25 seconds. So yeah, thank you, Lee, for that one. A 4-second fastest lap. I was just the fastest driver today, it has to be said. But yeah, I ended up actually finishing 5th. No one had any penalties ahead of me, so yeah, it's going to be 5th place. My best was actually an 18.2 there, which was the fastest, the second fastest lap out of anyone. So yeah, I would have got the fastest lap point apart from Connor anyway. But yeah, 4 seconds was not my fastest lap, and yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. I was so happy with my feature race win, to be honest. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more. This has been JWay3, and I'll see you next time.